You are not in control. You never were. From the moment you were born, the idea was planted. Take charge. Be responsible. Plan everything. Make it happen. And so you became obsessed with controlling the uncontrollable. You forgot how to flow. Control is fear dressed as strategy. It's the ego's way of pretending it's in charge of life's wild river. But rivers don't obey blueprints. Seasons don't follow your schedule. Love doesn't tick boxes. Death doesn't wait for your permission. And yet, you tighten your grip on the steering wheel of a car that has no tires, no engine, no road. Have you noticed how much energy you burn trying to control? Control your partner, control your children, control your emotions, control your success, even control your own awakening. But truth doesn't arrive by force. It slips in when you stop trying. A man once asked me, "Osho, how do I control my anger?" And I laughed. I said, "Why control it? Just watch it." He said, "But if I don't control it, it will destroy me." And I said, "It is destroying you already because you're trying to control it. What you resist, you strengthen. What you suppress owns you. What you try to dominate will dominate your peace. The moment you stop, not give up, but stop, a miracle happens. You begin to see, you begin to feel, you begin to trust. Trust is not control. It's surrender with eyes open. It's leaning into chaos and discovering it dances in rhythm. It's letting life paint your soul, not with your brush, but with its storms, its silence, its mess. Have you ever watched a bird fly? It doesn't control the wind, it rides it. You are like that bird. You were born to ride the winds, not command the sky. All your anxiety, it's not about the future. It's about your failure to control it. But the future doesn't belong to you. Only this moment does. And this moment needs no leash, just presence. So breathe. Drop the illusion. Melt into the truth. The river knows where it's going. You were never supposed to hold it. You were supposed to float. Light cannot exist without darkness. Joy cannot be known without sorrow. And you cannot be whole without your contradictions. Still, the mind seeks to split life into two, good or bad, right or wrong, light or dark, spirit or body. This is the mind's illusion, that one side can win, that heaven can defeat hell, that love must kill fear, that peace must erase chaos. But look deeper. Night does not fight the day. They take turns. Waves rise and fall. Your breath inhales and exhales. This is not war. This is the sacred dance. Duality is not a flaw in existence. It is its rhythm. You want happiness, but you reject sadness. You crave meaning, but hate emptiness. You glorify the soul and shame the flesh. And in doing so, you split yourself into fragments. The enlightened man is not the one who escapes duality. He is the one who becomes the dance itself. He no longer chooses sides. He smiles at his anger. He bows to his grief. He celebrates his ecstasy. And he welcomes his despair like an old friend. He understands this too is part of the song. Your mind is terrified of contradiction, but life is contradiction. And so long as you resist, you remain in conflict. Do not try to become only light. You will become shallow and false. Do not try to kill the dark. You will lose your depth. Instead, let both meet inside you. Let them make love in your heart. Let them birth the third force, silence. Silence is not the absence of noise. It is the meeting point. The place beyond extremes, the watcher within. Stop judging, stop labeling, observe instead. Observe your laughter, observe your weeping, observe your desires, observe your fears. Don't fix, don't edit, don't control, just witness. The witness is your truth, the dance is your path, and the dancer, the real you, has never been divided. Morality is society's cage, decorated with golden bars. It promises you virtue and steals your freedom. It teaches you what is right and makes you terrified of being wrong. But existence knows no morality. A tree does not ask if it should grow. The sun does not feel guilty for shining. The ocean does not apologize for its storms. Only man, confused and conditioned, carries this burden of good and bad. From childhood, you've been labeled good boy, bad girl, obedient, rebellious, selfish, loving, and you learn to perform for approval, not to live from truth. Morality is not consciousness. It is obedience to others' expectations. What they call morality is often just fear wearing a holy mask. Afraid of your sexuality, afraid of your anger, afraid of your power, so they suppress it, control it, and call it virtue. But suppression is not transformation. It is self-harm in disguise. The truly conscious man is not moral. He is awake. He acts not from fear, but from awareness. Not from rules, but from love. He lies when truth would be cruel. He speaks sharply when silence would be violence. He gives not because it's good, but because he feels to. To live without morality is not to live without heart. It is to live from the heart, without chains. Drop your labels. Stop asking, is this right or wrong? Ask instead, is this conscious or unconscious? Is this loving or fearful? Your soul has no commandments. It knows. The moment you stop performing, your real self begins to dance. Not for applause, not for heaven, but because dancing is your nature. A moral person is respected, but he is dead inside. A conscious person is dangerous because he cannot be controlled. Be dangerous, be wild, be silent inside and fierce in truth. Then life will not be a duty. It will become your art. Loneliness is the wound of the modern soul. People are surrounded yet empty, connected but not touched, scrolling endlessly hoping to be seen. But loneliness is not a curse. It is the doorway to something deeper. The pain of loneliness is not from being alone. It is from resisting aloneness. You were taught to avoid solitude, to fill the silence, to keep busy, to distract. Because in silence, the mind screams. In stillness, the heart aches. But only when everything is still, the truth is heard. Loneliness is the shadow. Aloneness is the light. Loneliness begs for someone else to complete you. Aloneness realizes you were never incomplete. A lonely person is dependent. He needs constant stimulation, affection, validation. He is a beggar with a golden cup. But the one who has entered aloneness, he is a king with empty hands. He does not chase love. He radiates love. He does not need to speak. His silence speaks volumes. The mind fears aloneness because the ego cannot survive in it. Only being remains, and in being, a miracle happens. You discover your own fragrance, your own presence, not borrowed, not performed, just pure existence. This is why the greatest masters withdrew from society, not to escape, but to return home. In aloneness, you meet yourself for the first time. You do not judge, you do not fix. You simply sit and witness the unfolding, and slowly, loneliness melts. There is no one else, but there is no lack, only presence, only being. Have you noticed? The more you try to be calm, the more restless you become. The more you try to sleep, the more awake you feel. The more you try to be loved, the more rejected you feel. Trying is tension. Trying is rooted in fear. Trying is the subtle declaration, I am not enough. I must become something else. This world worships effort, motivation, hustle, grind, push harder, achieve more, win bigger. But the mystic laughs. He knows that trying is violence against your own being. You are not a machine. You are not a project. You are life itself, already whole. The rose doesn't try to bloom, it simply blooms. The river doesn't try to flow, it flows. Trying is the disease. Being is the cure. You don't need to try to be spiritual. Drop effort, and you are. You don't need to strive for enlightenment. Let go, and it arises. What you seek is already within. Trying hides it. Silence reveals it. Have you seen a cat basking in the sun? It is doing nothing, yet radiates peace. Have you seen a tree standing in the wind? It resists nothing, yet remains strong. The universe moves not with force, but with grace. So must you. Trying is born of the ego. It always wants to prove, but being is born of trust. Trust in life, trust in existence, trust that you are already held. The more you try to control, the more life slips through your fingers, the more you let go, the more it flows toward you. Non-trying is not laziness. It is relaxation. It is intelligence. It is surrender, not of effort, but of resistance. The path is not forward. It is inward, and it begins where trying ends. Just be, not better, not different, just deeply, completely, truthfully be. And suddenly, you are already there. People are in a constant race to make life extraordinary. They want fireworks, achievements, glory. They want to stand out, to shine, to be noticed. But truth is quiet. It does not shout. It whispers in the most ordinary moments. Washing the dishes, walking to the market, sitting alone in the sun. These are not interruptions to life. They are life. The ego wants peak experiences. The soul longs for presence. And presence only lives in the ordinary. You have been taught to seek greatness. But the greatest truth is, there is nothing greater than what is. The sacred is not in the temple. It is in your morning coffee. It is in the silence between your thoughts. It is in the sound of a child laughing in the distance. In the breath that rises and falls without effort. To the mind, these are unremarkable. To awareness, they are divine. But you are too busy becoming someone. And in the rush, you miss what's right here, already complete, already glowing. The mystic lives simply, not because he rejects richness, but because he sees richness in what already is. He does not escape the ordinary. He penetrates it so deeply that the ordinary becomes luminous. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. No commentary, no judgment, just this. The more present you are, the more miraculous the mundane becomes. A blade of grass becomes a scripture, a drop of rain, a revelation, a shared glance, a transmission of the divine. You don't need another life. You don't need more excitement. You only need to be in this one, here, now fully. And then even sweeping the floor becomes worship. Even tying your shoes becomes meditation. All is sacred. because you are sacred, and wherever you are, holiness walks. Knowledge has become your prison. You believe the more you know, the safer you are. But knowledge does not make you free. It builds walls. It builds opinions. It creates identity, and with identity comes division. You are drowning in answers, but none of them bring peace. Children live in wonder because they don't know. They see everything for the first time with eyes unburdened by definitions. You too once looked at the sky and didn't call it blue. You just felt it. Then came the names, the facts, the theories, and slowly the mystery was lost. You became a scholar of existence, but forgot how to exist. What is the sky without the word sky? What is a tree without the name tree? It is life, raw, pure, unnamed, a direct experience, unmediated by thought. The mind fears not knowing. It wants to grasp, to categorize, to hold. But being is not a concept. It is a flame. You must enter it naked. I am not against knowledge. I am against the arrogance it brings. Real knowing begins where knowledge ends. When you stop pretending to know, a space opens. That space is silence. And in that silence, life reveals itself. Let the leaf be a leaf. Let the bird be a bird. Don't rush to name, to analyze, to interpret. Just be with what is. Feel its presence, its suchness. The wisest ones say, I don't know. And they are at peace because not knowing is not ignorance. It is openness. It is humility. It is freedom. You've learned so much, and yet you are unhappy. Could it be that knowledge is not enough? Return to wonder. Return to not knowing. Let life teach you again, not through books, but through being. Sit by a tree. Feel its silence. Let it whisper to you, not in words, but in being. This is the true education, the school of silence, the classroom of presence, the curriculum of the now. And here you will remember you never needed to understand everything. You only needed to love it, to be with it, to bow before the mystery. Doing nothing is not laziness. Doing nothing is not idleness in the ordinary sense. Doing nothing is not escape. Doing nothing is a radical revolution. We have been trained to believe that our value comes from what we do. We are measured by productivity, by accomplishment, by constant movement. But this is the disease of the modern soul, always striving, always chasing, never arriving. Doing nothing is a rebellion, a quiet rebellion, a sacred pause. Sit in the garden and do nothing. Suddenly, you notice the wind. You hear the whisper of trees. You feel your heartbeat. The whole world returns to you when you stop running from it. The art of doing nothing is the art of presence. You sit, you breathe, you watch. You don't interfere. You don't try to fix. You don't escape. You just are. And in that being, miracles happen. Old wounds soften. Old fears evaporate. You begin to notice the subtle beauty that was always around you. The flicker of sunlight on a leaf, the silence between sounds, the weight of your own existence. In doing nothing, you allow life to come to you. You are no longer the hunter. You become the witness. Try this. For 10 minutes a day, do absolutely nothing, not even meditating. Just be still. No technique, no mantra, no goal, just you and this moment. You will begin to see the addiction to doing. You will feel the discomfort of stillness, the itch to check, scroll, fix, reach. Watch that. Don't fight it. Just watch. And slowly, you begin to fall into your own depth. A quiet joy emerges, not the joy of excitement, the joy of rest. the joy of being. Doing nothing is the doorway to the divine. God doesn't shout. Existence doesn't argue. Truth doesn't rush. They wait in silence. They wait in stillness. They wait for you to stop so they can enter. When you stop trying, everything begins to happen. There's a Zen story. A disciple asked the master, "What must I do to find truth?" The master said, "Nothing." The disciple replied, "But isn't that doing something?" The master smiled. Exactly. We have been taught to ignore the body, to treat it like a machine, like an obstacle, like a problem. The religions told you the body is a sin. The culture told you the body must be controlled. The economy told you the body must produce. And so, generation after generation, you have been taught to escape from your body, to live in the mind, in the future, in abstraction. But the body is the doorway. The body is the temple. The body is the most sacred text you will ever read. It breathes even when you forget it. It carries you through pain. It absorbs your trauma. It whispers your truth. Even when your mind lies, the mind spins stories, the body holds reality. And the tragedy is, you only listen when it screams, when it aches, when it breaks. But long before the collapse, it whispered, with tightness, with tension, with fatigue, with that subtle gut feeling you chose to ignore. To come home to yourself, you must come home to your body. Feel your feet, breathe into your belly, stretch without a goal. Touch your skin as if it were wholly because it is. You are not in a body, you are a body. And this body is alive now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. And in this now, your body is always present. It cannot time travel. It cannot fantasize. It cannot lie. It only feels. The body doesn't know concepts like success, failure, approval. It knows safety. It knows touch. It knows breath. You don't need to escape from your body. You need to learn how to listen again, to move with it, not against it. Dance without choreography. Breathe without controlling. Feel without analyzing. Trust without planning. The more you drop into your body, the more the mind begins to soften. Thoughts slow down. The noise dims. And you realize this body is not in the way. It is the way. We are always chasing the extraordinary, the epic moment, the grand awakening, the spiritual fireworks. But the divine is not hidden in the sky. It is in your tea. It is in your breath. It is in the cracks of the sidewalk, in the wrinkles of your hands. Awakening is not about seeing angels. It's about seeing what's already here, clearly. The leaf is miraculous. The laugh of a child is sacred. The rhythm of your heartbeat is enough to bring you to tears if you are present. The ordinary is not ordinary. You are just too busy to notice because you think happiness lies somewhere else, in some perfect life, perfect moment, perfect version of yourself. But the present is not waiting for your perfection. It is already complete. The man who truly sees can find God in dishwashing, in cleaning the floor, in walking to the market. It's not the activity. It's the awareness, the depth, the attention. Every moment is dripping with holiness. If you slow down enough to feel it, try brushing your teeth as if it were meditation. Try listening to a friend without planning your reply. Try walking as if you were kissing the earth with your feet. Stop trying to reach some mystical state. Start honoring the moment you're in. This moment is not the obstacle. It is the path. Truth is never complicated. It is quiet. It is simple. It is here. A bird lands on a branch. A woman smiles. You breathe in, breathe out. Nothing special. Everything sacred. This is the real miracle. Not turning water into wine, but tasting the water fully, with reverence